One meeting, different goals. The highly anticipated meeting between US President Donald Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin will take place on Friday night, but expectations for a deal is low.
Israel faces international criticism over settlement plan to build more than 3,000 new housing units in the occupied West Bank. U.S. National Guard troops begin operations around Washington, D.C. following President Donald Trump's order to crack down on crime in the U.S. Capitol.
The US and Russian delegations have begun to arrive in Alaska ahead of the highly anticipated meeting between US President Donald Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin on Friday night. Trump has publicly stated he believes Putin is ready to make a deal to end the war in Ukraine. However, even his own administration has downplayed expectations, with White House officials recently calling the talks a listening exercise. The Kremlin has been even clearer, stating that no documents are expected to be signed. Moscow's focus appears to be on restarting its broader relationship with Washington rather than a specific deal on Ukraine. For his part, the US president has said that he would prefer another meeting between Putin and Zelensky to take place immediately in his own presence, as well as possibly that of European leaders. Renewed Russian missile and drone attacks have killed at least 7 civilians and injured 17 across Ukraine, ahead of a high-stakes peace summit between the president of the US and Russia. Ukraine's Air Force said on Friday that Russia launched nearly 100 drones and missiles overnight, with air defenses intercepting 63 of those drones. 4 people were killed in the Kharkiv region, 2 in Donetsk and 1 in Kherson. 17 people were wounded nationwide, including a child, with widespread damage reported to homes, a school and other civilian infrastructure. After the attacks, sources from the Ukrainian army told Ukrainian media that their special operation forces hit Russia's Syzran oil refinery and command post in occupied Donetsk Oblast. These latest strikes cast a shadow over the upcoming peace summit between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin.
The EU, the United Kingdom and the United Nations, alongside Israeli rights groups, on Thursday slammed an Israeli government plan to greenlight the construction of thousands of Israeli homes in a contentious area of the occupied West Bank. The swift condemnation came after Israeli far-right finance minister Bezalel Smotrich unveiled the plans to build the homes, saying it would bury the idea of a Palestinian state. A statement from the EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas called on Israel to halt the settlement construction. According to the statement, the decision to advance the E1 settlement plan further undermines the two-state solution while being a breach of international law. The so-called E1 project between Jerusalem and Ma'ale Adumim settlement has been frozen for decades amid fierce international opposition. It is feared that building there would effectively cut off the West Bank from occupied East Jerusalem. Settlements form one of the most contentious issues between Israel and the Palestinians. The Pentagon on Thursday said around 800 U.S. National Guard troops have begun operations around Washington, D.C. to aid law enforcement personnel in the U.S. Capitol. The mobilization of the troops follows an order by U.S. President Donald Trump in what he called a crackdown on crime in the U.S. Capitol, a similar action he took during protests in Los Angeles in June, generating widespread backlash.
All this administration does is lie and lie and lie. Crime is down. This is a power grab.
This is disgraceful. I come here every day. I never feel unsafe. This is an act, and putting women of color, making these people have these as their work orders, it's disgusting. And for what? For what?
According to defense officials, Guard members on patrol are not carrying weapons as of now, and they will not have the weapons in their vehicles. Trump announced the National Guard deployment along with a federal takeover of Washington, D.C.'s police department on Monday. The overwhelmingly Democratic U.S. Capitol faces allegations from Republican politicians that it is overrun by crime and homelessness. However, data from Washington police shows significant drops in violent crime between 2023 and 2024.